Basically, I buy these a lot. We're going to talk about the skincare that over the years I have purchased and just continued repurchasing that I have spent ungodly amounts of money on. And there's a person who actually inspired this video. She popped up in my YouTube algorithm probably 3 months ago, and I've been binge watching her content. Her name is Alexandra, and she does amazing makeup reviews and tutorials, and she just has this no BS approach, which I appreciate so much. And when she did this for makeup, I thought, you know what? I'd love to share some of the stories behind my most purchased products, even if I don't purchase them that much anymore. You know, which ones have been kind of the cult favorites that my skin owes some thank yous to. Let's start off with this one from Paula's Choice, the Exfoliate 2% BHA liquid. Can I tell you, I have been purchasing this since it looked like this. This is the OG packaging. This is a BHA liquid, so it's a salicylic acid liquid, and this goes onto the skin. It's not sticky. It really helps me unclog my pores. Salicylic acid is oil soluble, and when this goes on, it just goes into my face and helps me exfoliate everything off regularly. I've recommended this to other people. It is a cult favorite. It really does work amazingly. It's also not overly expensive, which I really appreciate, and I have been getting into essences more recently, but my skin would not be what it is today if it weren't for this guy. Speaking of other stuff I don't use anymore, this was my cult favorite for literal years. This is the Juice Beauty SPF 30 Oil-Free Moisturizer. You know that my skin has come a long way, and that unfortunately I didn't always use sunscreen. When I was little, my mom's in medicine, and so she knows the danger of sun exposure, and she would literally slather us up like greasy turkeys. And before even going outside, we would have to wait 30 minutes for it to soak in, and I just remember being miserable. I hated it, especially when I started to get acne. It would sting and burn, especially because they were chemical or organic filters back then. And it just burned my skin so much that I stopped using sunscreens, which is probably one of my biggest skincare regrets to date. But this stuff got me back in. It's a physical/mineral sunscreen. It has a really good base that goes onto the skin pretty smoothly. I thought that this did not flash back, and for years I used it claiming that it didn't flash back. But then it wasn't until Dr. Dre got me hooked on some other sunscreens and I tried new things that I realized there is a bit of a white cast to this. It's an SPF 30, which I do prefer things closer to 40 or 50 nowadays, but this has been a tried and true of mine. And the fact that it was oil-free made me feel better back when I was a little bit more nervous about using oils on my skin. This is an acne-safe sunscreen that I still love to this day. I just realized that the white cast is not as invisible as, you know, my pasty self thought that it was. Speaking of sunscreens, this one from Super Goop. Do you see how loved this is? I've purchased so many bottles of these, and I always end up rubbing the labels off. This is the SPF 40 from Super Goop. It is their physical/mineral one, and what I love about it is that it goes on super silky. It has a little bit of a tint to it, so this one does not flash back, in contrary to the other ones that I thought did. Even the ordinaries, I was like, oh, it doesn't flash back if you rub it in. But it's not the best for all skin types, to be honest. This one is a broad spectrum. It just works so well. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if it is waterproof or not. Oh, it is reef safe. Okay, but is it waterproof? I can tell you that I've used this in the water, and it has prevented me from getting a sunburn. It's also non-nano zinc oxide, so zinc oxide comes in different sizes. It's what protects you against the sun, the active ingredient. But if it's too small, there are some concerns as to how it absorbs into the skin and potentially the rest of the body. So this one's non-nano. It's a little bit expensive, but I find that it's worth it. And you know, prevention is easier than treatment, so I'd rather prevent squamous cell carcinoma, basal cell carcinoma, and other skin cancers. I just love this stuff. Oh, this stuff from Trader Joe's. My beloved jojoba oil. This is $6 at Trader Joe's, and it is some of the best $6 that I've ever spent. Like, screw the Starbucks, buy a bottle of these and it lasts you for literally 2 to 3 months. This is Trader Joe's jojoba oil, and jojoba oil is very special because it mimics the sebum that your skin naturally produces. You know, our face produces oil, but within that oil, which is called sebum, there are also other compounds such as cholesterol, different triglycerides. Our skin actually produces squalane, and when we put certain oils on our skin, such as coconut oil, and leave it on the skin, it has the opportunity to break out people who struggle with acne. And hi, hello, pimple face here. This jojoba oil goes on so silky smooth, it doesn't break me out. It does not hydrate, but it does moisturize, meaning that whatever you put on before, like a serum or something, it just locks it in. It soaks into the skin so well, it doesn't make my face look greasy, it doesn't smell super rancid or funky too. It's amazing. It's like my skin, but better. You can use it for makeup removal. You can use it, you know, to kind of lock things in. You can mix other oils into it. I've used tea tree before because there are medical studies proving tea tree's efficacy and some antibacterial effects. It's not the same as antibiotics and it should not be construed to be that way, but when diluted in some oils and kind of used as a spot treatment, it works really, really well. Even though I don't do that anymore, up until like 3 years ago I was doing it and it worked really well for my skin and really helped me with this area of breakouts. I cannot get enough of this stuff. This stuff I still use to this day. It's Panoxyl wash. This is a benzoyl peroxide 4% daily control, and I've recommended this to so many people who have teenage acne. If you have oily skin or puberty skin and you're struggling with breakouts, this is so good. It is a creamy wash, so it's less drying. Most benzoyl peroxide is super drying to acne and to skin. This one's a little bit more gentle, and this one can be used alongside retinoids, which some other benzoyl peroxides you might not want to mix because of how irritating they are. But I don't use this on my face. I still use it a little bit on my shoulders and my back, but honestly, it really stains. Like, it stains towels, it stains bed sheets, it's frustrating. And that's why I like it in a wash, because you wash it off. Whereas if you leave things on like a moisturizer with BP or even a spot treatment with BP, just be prepared to bleach everything you own. But the way that I use this is actually on my armpits. Benzoyl peroxide kills bacteria. There's a bond in it that breaks when it's introduced to heat, and that kills bacteria. And the reason our sweat smells is because of bacteria. You know, our sweat does not smell naturally, but when we sweat in the axillary area, there's bacteria that cultivates and lives in this area, and when it eats the sweat, it starts to fart. And those little farts really start to smell stinky, and that's what creates our BO. And that's why what you eat can actually impact how your body odor smells. So this kills bacteria, so when you put it here, it kills the bacteria. It cannot consume and digest and fart out your sweat, and therefore it helps with the stink. So this has been really fun. This has been an exciting time. This would not be a basically I buy these a lot video without the Ordinary. I have repurchased so many bottles of these that when they went out of stock, I honestly was like, oh, is it my fault? But no, it was coronavirus. These are the Grand Active Retinoid 2% emulsion and the AHA BHA peeling solution. Do you even need words? When I was introduced to this line, I fell in love. It didn't take very long. It took a couple of months, but I started trying more things, and that's what I love about the Ordinary, is that they let you try different things. Products are, you know, $5, $10, maybe $15. They are affordable. You're not wasting a lot of product. They come in little glass packages. Their whole branding really speaks to the skincare nerd, and that skincare nerd in me has just been there, locked up in the cage of my chest, wanting to flourish, and finally the Ordinary has allowed it to do that. And of course, since finding out about it, brands like the Inky List or Good Molecules or Good Science Beauty have popped up and really spoken to that nerdy side. But before, it wasn't really out there. Even Paulas Choice, you know, they had some amazing products, but they weren't really just labeled basically. And you know, from a chemistry perspective, it's nice just to see resveratrol and ferulic acid. Basic, simple, ordinary, slapped on a package. This Grand Active Retinoid I adore. It is HPR, hydroxypinocolone retinoate, as well as a little bit of retinol. Definitely not the most potent, definitely not comparable to what you'll get from the dermatologist, like retinoic acid. However, this works really well. There's low irritation. I know you can't get it in Canada, but it is so good and my skin just soaks it up. It also doesn't leave my skin feeling sticky or overly dry. I can't recommend this enough. I don't know when it's going to be back in stock. Please be back in stock soon. This AHA BHA peeling solution, we have gone so far with this. First off, it looks like you just gave yourself a vampire facial or a PRP, a platelet-rich plasma facial. You didn't. It's just some of the, I think it's cranberry in here. Oh, sorry, it's carrot and Tasmanian pepperberry that are giving it the color. But this has your AHAs, your alpha hydroxy acids, and your BHAs, your beta hydroxy acids. So like this one, it has that salicylic acid, which is great for acne-prone skin, but AHAs are also wonderful acids that are water soluble, and when they go on the skin, all of these just exfoliate supremely. So you're supposed to leave this on for 5 to 10 minutes and rinse off. Let me tell you, I have very resilient skin. From having acne for 15 years to doing all of the treatments that I've tried to working in professional settings, my skin can take a beating. Do as I say, not as I do, but I have left this on my skin for 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours if I was watching, you know, a nice YouTube documentary and I forgot it was on my face. It does not burn me, it does not hurt, but you should always use caution, especially when trying this. Patch test it, make sure you're protecting your hands. You don't want to get burns, you don't want to over exfoliate your skin. You shouldn't use this more than once or twice a week, but I love this stuff so much. And it's also fun to use. You know, it makes you look funky, it's fun to Instagram, and skincare is self-care, right? So these things should be fun and enjoyable because then we continue doing them. If we use products that we hate or that, you know, disrupt our skin in a way that's not enjoyable, or if we have like a 20-step routine that we just can't stick to, it's not going to be efficacious for our skin in the long run. So the fact that this makes it fun makes me so happy. And it's like $5, $10. Just thank you, thank you. This, I cannot tell you how many pots of this I have purchased over and over again and juggled. I've juggled these things. This is the Teamy Detox Mask Green Tea Blend. I started using this, December of 3 years ago. It is so good. It's like $30 at Ulta. It's a kaolin clay and bentonite clay base, so it really goes into the skin nicely and kind of soaks up oil, but it's also got green tea. Green tea has a bunch of antioxidants and catechins. Specifically, it has epigallocatechin 3 gallate, which is amazing for skin. There's a little bit of caffeine in tea as well, which could be a vasoconstrictor, meaning that it can help with redness in the skin. And hi, again, very acne prone. I tend to get a little bit of redness. I'm wondering if I'm starting to develop some rosacea as I get older, which does happen to women sometimes, but this stuff is so good. I've probably purchased around 10 packages of this alone. Currently, I'm using a Juice Beauty one, which is actually way more hydrating than this, so I'm not using this right now anymore, but this is still one of the tried and true. I've spent so much money on it, and my face does not regret it. This is also one of the most controversial things, but I've purchased so many of these, and it's the Dr. Bronners Castile Soap. It's the hemp and tea tree one, and a lot of people have come after me for recommending this. I've been using this for years. I don't currently use it right now, but it can be used for so many things. I have a bottle in my shower and sometimes I use it on my body, but for ages I used this on my face as a makeup remover and a cleanser, and let me tell you, this works so well. It is basic Castile soap. It is saponified oils. I think that there is coconut in here, and a lot of people freak out about that because coconut oil can break out acne prone skin. We've done a full video of it here, but remember that this is saponified oil, so it goes through chemical changes and it's not the same as coconut oil anymore because of the way it has broken down and recombined. This stuff gets makeup off my skin like nothing else. If you know what it's like to wear an Instagram cake face and have acne, you know how ridiculously difficult it is to get that stuff off your skin. Makeup is made to be long wearing and long lasting. And there are makeup removers that do not remove your makeup. Recently I found cleansing balms, and so that's what I'm currently using, but this stuff just works so well. And that's the other thing, is that it works quickly. It's not something you have to sit there and rub your face for 5 minutes with. You put it on and in 30 seconds to 2 minutes, waterproof mascara, liquid lipstick, cake face foundation comes right off. It is very intense, meaning it can be stripping. I have very oily prone skin, so this does help me because I have a lot of oil. If you have dry skin or combination skin, I wouldn't recommend this, but if you're trying to remove makeup and you have very oily skin, it's so good, and I've actually recommended this to a lot of people with acne. Again, it's a basic Castile soap, but one of the biggest issues with acne is that we think that we're removing our makeup, but we're not, and it's staying on our skin, it's causing little plugs, and it's, you know, not letting our pores, you know, release sebum, that oil, and it's not letting our skin desquamate naturally, which means like its natural process of exfoliation. This stuff just works so good, and it has saved so many people's skin. And as I've grown and spoken to more people, clients and patients, I've realized there are two different types of face washers. There are some that sit there and like really cleanse their skin for 60 seconds, 120 seconds, up to 3 minutes. And there are others who wet their face, rub a cleanser on it for 30 seconds and wash it off and think that they're clean. This is for the latter. This is for the person who wants to spend 30 seconds washing their face. If you wash your face with this for 120 seconds to 3 minutes, you are going to be dry, stripped. You're going to ruin your skin barrier. Don't do it. But for those of us who have fast cleansing hands, or if that is you, this has worked for a lot of people because those regular makeup cleansers don't do the job within 30 seconds. I know it's controversial, it also has a high pH, so I use, again, acidic toners to bring the pH of my skin back in balance. You should never use this and then just run off, because having a high pH to your skin over a long term could lead you to some bacterial or maybe even fungal infections. It just doesn't, it can kind of damage the skin barrier over time, but that's why I just bring the pH right back down, and it works so well. And I have purchased these so many times. I've used them on my armpits. I used to use them to shave my legs. They're like $8, and they work really, really well. So basically, I buy these products a lot. Honestly, repurchasing these over and over and over after 10 years, I've probably spent more than $1,000 on these products alone. And again, looking at $5 to $10 products, spending $1,000 on these types of things is actually pretty ridiculous. I'm not out here wasting my money on La Mer, right? But I swear to God, they are tried, true. I still love them even if I'm not using them currently. And if you're looking for new products, I cannot recommend these enough. Let me know if you'd like a video on things that I'm currently obsessed with or things that my skin cannot live without. Because like I said, after I've phased some of these products out, especially essences, oh my God, I've fallen in love with essences and cleansing balms. So if you'd like one of those and maybe an updated skincare routine, holler in the comments. We'll make it happen. I'm a genie in a bottle. Your wish is my command. Make sure that like button is as blue as this bottle, and if you haven't subscribed, join the Butterfly family, where we talk about skin science, cosmetic chemistry, and help you understand the biology of your beauty. Also, if you're not on Instagram, I finally got back on Instagram, so come say hi. Always remember to be beautiful, both inside and out, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.